Γεια σας, καλημέρα. Με λένε Στάλο. Today we are going to talk about impersonal verbs and phrases in Greek. Many languages have impersonal verbs and phrases. Chances are that your own language has them too. The Greek term for impersonal verb is το απρόσωπο ρήμα. The word απρόσωπο is a compound word and it consists of the alpha privative. There is a link to a video on alpha privative in the description below, and the word πρόσωπο, which means person. So, απρόσωπο ρήμα is a verb that has no person, meaning no subject. In other words, impersonal verbs express an action or a state independent of any specific subject. Impersonal verbs are always in the third person singular form. They are used to express abstract concepts such as necessity, obligation, probability, and they are also used in describing weather conditions. Let's see the difference between a personal verb and an impersonal verb. Παίζω. There is no subject here, but we know that the implied subject is εγώ. Εγώ παίζω. Εγώ is omitted because in Greek it's not necessary to state explicitly the pronoun that serves as the subject because the ending of the verb makes it clear whether it's first or second or third person, singular or plural. In this case, we know from the ending omega that it's the first person singular. So the subject is εγώ. The subject in English is I. Now look at this. Χιονίζει. No subject, just like in this example. But is there an implied subject? No, there is no subject at all. It's an impersonal verb. So an impersonal verb in Greek is a verb that does not have a subject. In English, however, it snows, the subject is it. This it exists only because English does not allow a verb to be without a subject. Therefore, in English, an impersonal verb is defined as a verb that does not have a specific subject. We can call this non-specific subject a dummy subject. As mentioned earlier, impersonal words and phrases are used in describing weather conditions. Here are some examples. Βρέχει, φυσά, είναι κρύο, έχει κρύο, είναι ζέστη, κάνει ζέστη. For more impersonal expressions about the weather, you can watch my video on that specific topic. There is a link in the description below. Here is a list of just a few of the most common impersonal verbs. Πρέπει, must, have to. Μπορεί, may. Πρόκειται, about to, will. Φαίνεται, it seems. Χρειάζεται, need to, it's necessary. Έχει. In the previous slide, we used the verb έχει in describing the weather. Έχει κρύο, it's cold. Here we will see two more meanings. It has been and there is or there are. Δεν κάνει, it's not appropriate. Or you can have the affirmative expression κάνει, it's appropriate. Συμβαίνει, it so happens. In the description below, you can also find a link to a video on the verb συμβαίνει. Please have in mind that some impersonal verbs are not strictly impersonal. They are normal verbs that take a subject and can be conjugated like any other verb. For example, μπορεί is from the verb μπορώ, which means to be able to. So it can be conjugated in other persons too. For example, μπορείς, you are able or you can. Μπορούμε, we are able, we can, and so on. But it can also be used impersonally in the third person singular. We will see an example in the next slide. Let's look at some sentences with impersonal verbs. Πρέπει να πάω. I have to go. I must go. Μπορεί να πάω. I may go. Maybe I will go. Φαίνεται ότι θα πάω. It seems that I will go. Χρειάζεται να πάω. I need to go. It's necessary to go or it's necessary for me to go. Έχει 2 μέρες να πάω. It has been 2 days since I went. Here, έχει shows duration of time, and in the description there is a link to a video devoted to that. Έχει can also mean there is or there are. Έχει ένα αγοράκι εδώ. There is a little boy here. Or plural. Έχει 3 κοριτσάκια εκεί. There are 3 little girls there. As you can see, έχει can mean there is, but also there are. It doesn't change. And there is also a link to another video on that. Here are some examples of impersonal phrases. Είναι ανάγκη. It's necessary. Είναι δυνατό or είναι δυνατόν with ni, which is the more formal, archaic ending of the neuter. It's possible. Είναι αδύνατο or είναι αδύνατον, again with the ni. It's impossible. Είναι σημαντικό. It's important. Είναι καλό. It's good. Είναι κακό. It's bad. And finally, some sentences with impersonal phrases. Είναι ανάγκη να πάω. It's necessary to go, or you can say it's necessary for me to go. Είναι αδύνατο να πάω. It's impossible to go, or it's impossible for me to go. Είναι σημαντικό να πάω. It's important to go, or it's important for me to go. That's all for today. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time. Ευχαριστώ. Γεια σας.